Chapter 20. Woomph. Woomph! The front door exploded inwards and a huge rusty cannonball arced across the reception hall and wedged itself in the wall just above the painting of great-great-great-granddad Abraham. "Nobody move!" a voice shouted. I couldn't be exactly sure as my ears were ringing from the blast, but it sounded like the voice of a girl. It was coming from the front steps, but it was dark and there was so much smoke and dust that no one could see who it belonged to. Or else! Nobody moved a muscle. Even Prince Grogber quickly sprawled himself across the table, stunned into silence. I stared with wide eyes as the dust cloud rolled through the hole in the wall where the front door used to be. What was that? First Mate Plank? A second voice in the smoke asked. It was high-pitched and scratchy like the hinges on the back garden gate. "I said," came the girl's voice. "Eh?" asked the scratchy voice. "Will you shut up?" the girl's voice snapped. "You're ruining my entrance. And while we're at it, I hadn't said fire yet." "What?" "I hadn't given the command." "What command?" "Fire!" The girl was clearly losing her temper. I could hear the sound of her stamping on the spot. "I hadn't said fire." "Oh," the scratchy voice said. "Fire!" There was another enormous whoomph, and a second rusty cannonball shot through the hole in the wall and demolished the cloakroom door. "Oh, forget it," the girl's voice shouted. There was the sound of footsteps and a silhouette suddenly appeared in the smoke. Prince Grogber obviously recognised the little shape as he started mumbling, "No, no, no," under his breath. The girl emerged into the reception hall and stood feet wide apart with her hand on her hip. She aimed a tiny musket into the air and fired it. "My name is Tempestra Plank," she yelled, "and I've come to reclaim our treasure." "I'm out of here," yelled one of Grogber's guards. He dropped his spear and ran out of the room. "Me too," blubbed another. "And me." "Oh, ho, ho," the Molar sisters cooed together, clapping their hands with excitement. In a moment, most of the prince's guards had abandoned their posts. The remaining few lowered their weapons and watched in horror. "Ha!" Tempestra laughed. I'd never seen a creature like her in real life. She was obviously a goblin, but a completely different species to Prince Grogber and his barrow cronies. I'd read about her kind in some of Grandad Abraham's books. Squall goblins, voyagers that sailed the deepest sewers and oceans and who never came ashore. Whatever Grogber had stolen, it must have been very valuable. Where the barrow goblins were short and round, Tempestra was tall and slim. If she'd stood next to me, she would easily be as high as my shoulder. Her curly red hair was wedged under a tricorn hat, and she was wearing a long peacock blue coat with ruddy boots that laced all the way up to her knees. "Where's Grogbottom?" she said through gritted teeth. Everyone sitting on the floor pointed at Prince Grogber, who was tiptoeing his way towards the nearest exit. The prince froze and turned to face the goblin girl, laughing nervously. Tempestra's eyes lit up with vengeful glee when she saw Grogber in the crowd. "Avast, sewer rats!" she shouted. And, well, I swear to you that I'm not lying, the hull of a goblin pirate ship came crashing through the wall. Guests and goblins alike scattered in all directions as huge chunks of the staircase fell inwards and shattered on the black and white tiles. Sea water splashed round our ankles as the enchanted wave that had carried the ship up the beach hit its mark. The ship's pirate crew clambered down the wooden sides or swung to the ground on ropes. They were a terrifying bunch of goblins and goblinettes. Some of them wore eye patches or had peg legs or hooks for hands, and all of them were brandishing cutlasses. "Get him," Tempestra ordered, and her crew rushed at the prince. They grabbed him and dragged the chubby goblin, kicking and flailing, towards the girl. "I can explain," Prince Grogber yelled. "I only borrowed it." "Prepare to die," Tempestra hissed in the prince's face, drawing a sword from her belt. Everyone grimaced and squinted, everyone except Mum. "Hold it," she bellowed. The entire hall stopped what they were doing and turned to stare. "What's going on? You can't just blow a hole in our hotel, then murder a guest in reception, even if Grogber is a loathsome little toad." Suddenly my brain caught up with everything that was happening and my jaw fell open. I looked at the pirate girl, I looked at the ship, I looked at the crew, and I knew I'd seen them before. My brain started racing. What did Tempestra say her last name was? I nearly fell over with excitement. "Plank," I gasped. I was staring at the daughter of the greatest goblin pirate that had ever lived, Captain Calamitous Plank.